Hello everyone, this is Stektpotet back in Minecraft. So, there's been a long time since I made a video now, and I've got a lot of new subscribers, so I thought, well, hey, why not show them some stuff? So that's what I'm doing right now. So yeah, this is my new redstone world. I've been playing around in here for quite some time. All the time since I left, really, so yeah. What we're going to cover today are these objectives and player. Well, really, it's called scoreboards. So, yes. Anyways, let's just jump into it, shall we? We have the first, all the stuff over here has to do with the objectives, and all the stuff over here has to do with the players that contain the values of the objectives. So, yeah, that's what this is. But anyway, let's start with this. Let me just do a few commands here, just to reset what I've just set up here. So anyways, yeah, we have the initial command, scoreboard objectives, and then the command which tells the game what to do. So that's the command we will be using all the way over here. The first one is for creating the objective slash variable, as I like to call it, as I'm doing programming a lot. But anyways, you might be more familiar with that word than objective. But in Minecraft, it's called objective. So anyway, let's jump into it. We have inside here, I've set up sort of to display what is needed and what is not really needed but is possible to use. So everything within brackets are things you don't necessarily need to use, but are useful in some occasions. And these within the less than and bigger than are the things you need in this command to make it work. So you have add, which is what this command will do. It will add a new objective, and then you have the name. What's the name of the objective that you're going to create? And then you have the type. I will go through the types in a short while. You have these command blocks right behind here, which displays all those. So I will go over there in just a second. And yeah, you have the display name, which is as you might have objectives that are long. You have, say, something like go and get an apple for Mrs. Bacon or whatever like that. That would be a long name to put in here, as this is what you're going to refer to every time you're going to change a value. So that's what you would put in the display name. So let's go on over to an actual example here. Here you see an example of the command, this command, using only this over here, all the selected here. So we're excluding the display name as it's not really needed in this case. You have the name, it's a short name, it's derp. That's what you're going to refer to later, even if it's going to be displayed. So what will happen when you try to display this? Well, basically it will take this name here and display that instead of the display name. And it's of the type dummy, which I will be explaining in just a second. It's right here. And then, yeah, this command is going to add derp as an objective. And then we have derps over here, which is the exact same thing, but this one has the display text, which is derps completed. And then we add that as well. You have now two objectives called derp and derps. Keep in mind that these objective systems are actually case sensitive, so just have that in the back of your head while you're doing this, and everything should be good. So these are the different types. First off, we've got health. This is actually just a type of objective that will store all the health. Well, it will store all the data on the health. So if a player has like 1 health point left, that will be contained within that specific objective. You don't really need more than 1 objective telling that, because every objective, even if they're named differently, will have the same value. So yeah, that's just something you can do. This is also a type you cannot interact with, so you can't set the health value of a person to be like massively big, like 200, because a player normally just have 20 health points, I believe. So anyway, that's only for getting a value from the player. So you can, say, have a door which will only open if the specific player has a very low health or very much health left, depending on what you say. So yeah, that's the health type. Then you have the total kill count. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you kill something, whether it's a mob or a player, it will always add 1 to the objective. So if I kill someone with the score of 0 in this objective, it will go up to 1 when I kill someone. Even if it's a creeper or a zombie or a skeleton or simply a mob, a pig will do, or a player. But if you're only hunting for players, then this will probably do this trick. You have a player kill count. It will contain all the data on the total kill player count, how many players the player have killed. And of course you have the death count, which shows the amount of times a player has died, and the dummy type. I'm going to go through that in just a sec. So all these 4, except the health one, are interactive objectives. So you can actually set total kill count to be massively big. So I can actually say that I have killed 20,000 people or mobs or whatever, even though I haven't really done that. Then I could also say my death count is 0, which of course it is. But yeah, if you have a game mode where you want to check if a player has died 3 times before he gets kicked out of the arena or something, then this will be the thing you would use. So every time a player reaches 3 in this death count objective, then something will happen to him, you can say. Then you have the final one, the dummy, which some people might find confusing, but it's not really, especially if you're known with programming. So let's start with the math explanation. In math you have x equals 4. That's simple as that. X is now constantly 4. And you might use this in raining and say x minus 2 equals 2, and that's very easy, but that's how it works in math, right? Every math piece is very easy and stuff like that, but whatever, let's go to this stuff. This isn't math, this is Minecraft. It doesn't have anything to do with it. So in programming, variables work a little bit different, and also in Minecraft here, because in Minecraft and programming, the variables, or objectives in this case, are not constant. You might have x to be called 1, well, have the value of 1 in the start of a match, and then let's say in the end of a match, if there's a PvP game or whatever, the x value is 100. That might be the actual goal of the map as well. You might have to press a button 100 times, and that will be a really boring game, but whatever. If that's what you would want, you could do it. You can make a game based upon pressing a button 100 times, and the first player that presses a button 100 times will win, because that is so much fun. I have no idea why I'm placing these signs everywhere. So anyway, yeah, these objectives, except the health one, is interactive, as I said. So you can make them change value by using different commands and through redstone. So let's say I have a command here that will make the value on death counts to go to -400, because I can apparently die -400 times. Then the easiest thing to do would simply be sending a redstone signal to the command block, and then you have it done. The command will tell the value to change to whatever you decide in that command block. So this is really useful for containing values throughout the map. You might even use this for quests and stuff. So if a quest is done, then the value is 1, and if the quest is not done, it's 0. Simple as that. But that's the basic stuff around creating the objective. So let's move on to this one, which is removing an objective / variable from the world. So as I said, these objectives are contained within the worlds. So all the derp and the derps are only contained within this world. It wouldn't make sense if these objectives I make suddenly interfere with some other random world someone from a completely different region have created. So anyway, this specific derp and this specific derp's objective is only contained with this within this world. So you might also just remove them from this world if that's what you desire to do. Because sometimes you might have created too many or too many in this case, as you want to remove it, or you maybe have named it wrong or something like that. So you have the scoreboard's objective remove derps. So this in this case will remove this objective, and I can just create it again if I want to. And that's basically how you do it. It's simple as that. It's just this command, and then you have the name of the objective. Keep in mind this is the actual name and not the display name. But yeah, that's how simple it gets. And then you get to the display thing in this scoreboard system, because there are 3 different types of displays you can have. Well, in visually, you can also create, such as over there, displays, but that's for later. But the displays in like the screen for the player works like this. You have the initializing command, which is scoreboard objectives, and then you have the actual command, which is set display, and then you have display type. Now, as I said, there are 3 different types of display types. I will go through them right after this. And then you have the name of the objective you want to display. So even though an objective isn't displayed, it will still count. So it doesn't necessarily have to be on your screen to still be available and enabled. So keep that in mind. You might just use these without actually showing them up to the player. You might have a value that you do not want the player to know, but you might also have a want for the player to know what his value is. So in this case, I will set the display. Let's change that to derp, as that is more convenient right now. So we will change it to derp. Now, as you see here, it shows up in the tab menu. Before, it wasn't even there. If I remove this and show you now, it's not there. And now this command doesn't work because the objective isn't really there anymore. But if I create this and then set the display, you will instantly see that show up there. And then we have the next one. So this was list, which will show up in the tab list. So this will show the value for every player on the server. And then you have the sidebar, which is a new thing. Well, it was a new thing when this system was introduced. So you have the value over there suddenly, as you see. And then you have the last one, which is below name. I can't really show that off right now, but if you were to be another player on this server and you were to meet me, you would see derp colon 0 underneath my name. That would show up over my head. So yeah, you might have seen like old-fashioned games with well, new-fashioned games as well, with the health displaying over the player or something, or enemies or whatever. So that might be an objective you create with the health type instead of dummy type. So yeah, you might show up different values over players' heads, which is useful in a lot of things. Now, I am tempted to say there's only the imagination that stops, well, that limits this system, but yeah, it's nearly that at least. So yeah, let's get onto these commands. So let's say you have used these for checking if the value is correct, and you don't really want the value to show up for every player. You want to remove it from every player now. Then you just use the same commands, but without any names behind. So before the command was derps, well, derp there, and now you remove it by simply doing this. So if I press this button now, the 0 will disappear there, and then the sidebar will disappear now, and then the below my name text will disappear when I press this. So yeah, you see it says clear there. And then we have the final command, which does not work with command blocks. That's why I have it. Oh, damn it! That's why I have it already set here. So copy this, because this is a command that only shows the things for the player that types it, and as this command blocks will send the command to the server itself and not through any player, it will only display the names for the command block, and the command block can't really do anything with that. But the player can. You can now check, okay, in this world there are all these different objectives. I currently have a lot of them because I've been doing a lot of testing and stuff. But as you see here, you have the derp, and it displays as derp, and it is the type dummy. So yeah, that's a way to figure out all your objectives you have in the world, because if you're creating something rather big, it might contain a lot of different objectives. But anyway, that's how you create and deal with all the objective handling. But let's go over to the actual value of these objectives, because each of these values for the objectives are individual for have individual values for each player. So the initial command for this is as with the other one, scoreboard, and then you have players, and then you have the command. What are you going to do with this player, with this player's scoreboard? So you have here the first one adds the set value to the value of the set objective. Now that might sound confusing, but trust me, it's really easy when you see this, because the initializing command is here as with the other one, and then you have add. This tells the game to basically add to the value, and then for which player are you doing this? So in here you might type a player name, or you might type these commands, well, at A or at P, or it might be at R. So at R will pick someone random, at P will pick the nearest player, and at all will pick all players. So it will do the commands with all players. So that's how this works. And then you have the objective. So which objective are you modifying the value of for the player? So that will be the name you've set here, right here in not the display name, the actual name. So it will be derp in this case, and then the number you're going to add. So we have the command over here. Okay, so add Stektpotet derp 1. Now if I want to make sure it's the nearest one, I could just replace this with add P. So add 1 to the objective derp for the nearest player. Done. Okay, so now it's set to 1, and if I press one more time, 2, 3, 4, and it continues to work like that. So the next one is just the same with set instead. Now you might imagine what this does. It sets the value of the selected objective to the number set, and with this command it will basically do sort of the same, but instead of adding, it will set the actual number to the number you've set in the command. So now I will set my value to the maximum, which is, I think it's, how many nines? There are 9 nines here, so yeah, you've got a lot of numbers to work with here. And I think it also goes into negative in the same value, but I'm not really sure how far down it goes that way. But anyway, that's how you set the value. Let me just set it back to 0 now, and done. Okay, now it's 0. Let's put it up to 3 for this next command. So this is the remove command, and it does the exact same thing as the add command, except it subtracts. So yeah, this command is subtracting 1 from the objective derp for the player's Stektpotet. Okay, so now it's 2, now it's 1, now it's 0, now it's -1 and -2. Now that's easy. That's the easy part. That's handling the different stuff within this objective. You might just remove the objective and have another objective there. If you're going to do another objective, that's probably something you got from what I already said. So yeah, Then you have the final command, which I think is kind of weird. Apparently it's not anymore, and it's set to 0, which is a good thing. So just deal with that, and yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. So that's basically all the handling of these objective things, and the next time I am back, we're going to go over the examples of usage. Now currently you see this road ends here. That's because I haven't really worked with the examples yet, but I have a lot of examples over there and there and there and there and there, basically all over the place, of these command blocks being used. So I will go through a few of them, especially something that I think is useful for doing map development stuff. And then later on, after that, we'll go over this one, because this takes use of some of the useful examples here. So yeah, that's everything for now, and I hope I will see you next time going through the examples. That's about it. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day, the rest of the day, and good night and stuff like that. So yeah, goodbye.